Hello, please listen to me. It's for your own good. I feel compelled to warn you of the danger that was recently unleashed upon the internet. I don't have much time left as it is. I feel that he draws nearer. I like to surf the net, as most people do. Sometimes the internet gets boring, though. I find myself have nothing better to do than to go out on an anonymous webcamming site known as Omegle. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. It is notorious for having those perverts for doing disgusting stuff on cam. Well, I went to Omegle for the first time in forever, and well, I guess they have a new feature where you can get paired up with people and share your interests. In addition, they also let you access Facebook and use your interests there if you want. I decided to try it and began random webcamming spree. The first few people just skipped me, and then there was those many idiots that skipped for doing something messed up. But then it happened. He showed up on cam. A man dressed in black appeared to be in a robe or a gown, wearing what looked like a very well-detailed, semi-expensive, sort of jack-o'-lantern-like creepy pumpkin mask. I couldn't really tell what the mask was made from, though. The man came on camera and was waving at me creepily. I kinda gotten a little freaked out, but then I laughed and asked if he could take off his mask. The man was silent and just shook his head no. I found that to be a bit unsettling. Time passed and I thought I had caught on. I laughed asking the man if this was a prank, but then the man had motioned me to be quiet, so I did so. And when I typed into the man saying I was going to skip the next person, then typed again saying, "But this is too funny," the man typed back, "I know where you are. For the next 3 days, wherever you go, I will follow you. Whatever you do, I will be watching. I will know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, and know when you're doing it. And you will all ever see me as this mask. Then after 3 days, I will kill you." As if it weren't enough, I was finished reading and then went back to the next chat. I noticed that my webcam was mirroring his, so he was somehow now broadcasting from my webcam as well. I saw the man point the screen as if to me with his index finger and do a cutthroat motion. At this point, I took this as something serious and was now on edge. I screen capped this evidence for the police and printed out the picture, then headed to the local police station right away. On my way to the station, I noticed in my rear view mirror, the car behind me appeared to have no driver, but I did see the mask and the man was driving through the glass. When I arrived at the police station, I handed my pictures to the police. They assured me that they'd be scouting my area for the man with the mask for the next few days. This made me somewhat safe. I decided to let them stake out, and I tried continuing my life as normal. The next day, I went shopping at Walmart because I was getting low on food and needed to pick up milk. Something very scary happened in Walmart. As I progressed in getting groceries I needed, the usual bustle of store dumbled down just as, if not more progressively. When I got to checkout, I noticed that no one was in the store any longer. In each checkout lane, on the counters, there was just a mask that looked like the man wore. I ran out, hurried and unlocked my door, just piling my groceries in the passenger seat and sped out of the parking lot. When I got home, I was so freaked. I just grabbed all my groceries and ran to the front of the house, then locked all the doors and windows. I needed reassurance. So I called the police and asked them if they had noticed them around, and thankfully they hadn't. I decided to call it an early night and went upstairs and got into bed. I awoke that morning. I was frightened to see that hanging the hook of my closet in my bedroom. It was the mask the man wore. I grabbed the mask and rushed downstairs, grabbed my keys and rushed to the police station. I showed them the mask and they said they had told me to stay at a friend's house for the night while they investigated my house. I called my buddy Brad and he always gave me a place when I needed it. So that night I headed to his place and we stayed up playing video games while I explained my situation. To my shock, he said that he encountered the same man just the day before I did, which would make this a third day. Later that night when we were asleep, I woke into a loud sound coming from Brad's room. Scared, I crept upstairs to check on him. I was horrified to see Brad, who was lying on his bed in a pool of blood, with that damn mask laying on his chest. Today was the third day, and I'm sitting at the police station on Brad's laptop, typing this to warn you all to beware of the Pumpkin Man. I don't know what will become of me, but if this post gets around and saves as many lives as possible, I'm content. Well, my pretties, that was Beware Omegle. This creepypasta, it's, I guess this is like an online, chat room creepypasta or something. Whatever you guys prefer to call it. And this story was written by the Man of Mysterious Stories. I remember hearing this story from Silver Stories, as well as a couple narrators. And this one was definitely a pretty freaky story. This one involving, some guy wearing this mask and he says he's going to kill somebody on Omegle. Well, like, from the Omegle call because of it. So this is actually one of the reasons why I don't have any intentions of getting Omegle, because, yeah, stuff like this can happen. You can end up running into some sort of really messed up people on Omegle, even on any other site, but this is why I stay away from Omegle, because it may not end well for people who don't know what you're doing. So anyways, with that being said, and that being the case, the story was a pretty good warning story about what would happen to people if they had Omegle. So, I'm not getting Omegle, and I don't ever plan to, because, yeah, I never had any plans to get it anyway, because of how, messed up some people can be. I mean, the grammar of this story was pretty good, as well as the storyline and etc. It's a pretty interesting concept for a story. So I definitely have to say it's definitely one of the fewer stories I can say was pretty good. And this one is definitely one of them. I will say right now, this is definitely one of those stories that I really gotta say put a lot of time and effort into them. So anyways, with that being the case and that being said, I personally like this story. I thought it was really well made in detail. It's fun. I recommend it. So anyways, with that being the case and with that being said, I personally thought this was a really neat story. It's well made and all that, so I gotta really say it's a pretty good story. So anyways, yeah, I mean, the whole concept of it seems pretty interesting, and I do like the fact that, that this killer or whatever, going after the protagonist in the story, pretty much ends up becoming a stalker to this person in the story. Which, I mean, it's a pretty interesting concept, although it was done in a correct way to make sure, that a lot of websites like that are very, like Omegle, are pretty something that you guys should be aware of. So, I don't ever plan to use Omegle because stuff like this can happen. I mean, I know other sites can, depending on if you know what you're doing, know how to keep people safe, yourself safe, etc. So, anyways, it's a pretty good story. I definitely gotta say to the author of the story, you did an awesome job. I really appreciate the hard work that this story had become. It's a pretty good one, especially. But although I'm surprised that I have not touched this story yet. I thought I did, but it doesn't look like I did. So here I am, narrating it as we speak. So anyways, with that being the case and that being said, I'm going to sit here and just say this is simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 mainly because it was a creepy story, especially the mask person in this. Like, holy hell, that could give anybody nightmares just looking at it. I mean, it would be cool for Halloween and all, but other times besides Halloween, it's pretty creepy. But despite that, I personally like this story. This is honestly a really well-made concept. I love it. It's well made, and I recommend you guys take a look at it if you haven't. So, Anyways, with that being said, what did you guys personally think of this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.